The 2024 summer has unleashed an unprecedented wave of wildfires, scorching millions of hectares from the Amazon to Siberia, the largest burned area in over a decade. Entire forests and residential areas have been reduced to ashes as extreme heat waves have ignited vast regions across Algeria, Bulgaria, Turkey, Russia, and the US. In Brazil alone, the inferno has consumed an area larger than 25 million football fields. Canada is tackling its worst wildfires on record, with nearly 5,000 fires reported this year. In 2023, wildfires bumped Canada into the top 4 carbon dioxide emitters. Greece has seen a 50% increase in wildfires compared to 2023, with over 4,000 fires threatening both natural and residential areas. The frequency and intensity of wildfires have doubled over the past 20 years. A 2022 UN report projects a 50% increase in extreme wildfires by the end of this century.
The Idaho Department of Land says more than 620,000 acres of land have burned across the Gem State this wildfire season. The department says Idaho has spent more than $39 million fighting fires this year.
And across the state, IDL recorded 271 confirmed fires. 121 of those were human-caused.
More people are evacuating in Cascade because of wildfires raging in that area.
And that includes the Boulder Fire, which fire officials say merged with the lava fire to the west yesterday. Abby Davis was in Cascade today. So, Abby, the question is, how is everyone there feeling?
Honestly, they're really tired. This has been a long wildfire season that I'm told started earlier than usual, and it's not looking like it will be over anytime soon.
And we can't get into our homes coming from West Mountain. We're just surrounded. We evacuated last week for a week and then went back home on Friday and then had to leave again yesterday night.
The Boulder Fire keeps forcing Jen Bodenbender and her family out of their Lake Cascade home and into their Airbnb in town.
I feel incredibly fortunate that we have a place to stay. There's a lot of people who had to just take their kids out of school, go down to the valley, people who have to live in trailer parks that don't have power at the moment, or live at the hotels.
The Valley County Sheriff's Office evacuated more people Monday.
Everything from the very south end of the lake to just north of Herd Creek is on go status,
bringing the total to nearly 600 on level 3 notices. Hundreds of others are on levels 1 and 2.
Fire is so unpredictable, though. I mean, we've seen how fast it takes communities, and that's my biggest fear, is if you get just the right conditions and we don't go that set and then go quick enough, and then we can't get them out of there.
Sheriff Kevin Caperi says the small town is surrounded.
I've been here over 17 years, and I have never seen a fire season quite like this. Right now, we have 2 on the west side that are active. On the east side, we have the Snag Fire, we have the Goat Fire, we have the Dollar Fire.
It's not the greatest. I love living up here. The mountain life is what we love, the community here. My husband works out of town right now, so it's just me with the kiddos and all the animals. And so the disruption, it kind of feels overwhelming sometimes.
It's exhausting. It's tiring. You know, we have a lot of compassion for that. It's not fun to live with fire in your backyard and with this kind of smoke. So we understand that.
Fire Information Officer Bethany Urban says they aren't just battling the flames.
Right now, it's more about finding the most opportune time and areas that we can get in there when the weather and the conditions allow us to do it safely. We're doing everything we can.
We've seen fires popping up all over, just about every corner of the state.
Oregon has been facing fire after fire this summer, leading to hazy and smoky skies, to evacuation orders and a need for outside assistance. The Northwest Interagency Coordination Center says there's about 24 large fires the state is currently facing now, leading to the area being under preparedness level 5, meaning
the Northwest, it being the number 1 priority in the nation, it focuses on resource allocation that comes across our borders, basically from the other states, and we're prioritized to get those resources.
Carol Connolly with the Northwest Interagency Coordination Center says those fires make up around 500,000 acres. She also says thanks to the state getting over 800 lightning strikes this weekend, they are tracking several new large fires in the Central Oregon area.
We're going to pick up what we call holdover lightning fires. A lightning strike can hit a tree, a single tree, and it might smolder around the base of the tree, and it might take a couple days for it to actually go above the treetop to where we can detect the smoke and find the fire.
She says there's about 9,000 firefighters and support personnel working these fires, and the region has even gotten help from several states and 2 different countries, Australia and New Zealand. Fires like the Rail Ridge Fire in Crook and Grant counties, which is over 135,000 acres, and the Shoofly Fire in Wheeler County has even led the governor to invoke the Conflagration Act Friday, allowing the state fire marshal to mobilize resources to wildfires when life and property are threatened. The Red Cross has also been on scene, helping those needing to evacuate all summer long.
We're following breaking news in San Bernardino County. Firefighters hope a break in the hot and windy weather will help them get a hold on the massive bridge fire, which now tops 50,000 acres this morning.
Yeah, let's go to Gigi Gracia joining us now with the latest on, again, what is now the biggest fire in California, Gigi.
Right, the biggest active fire. Brooke and Bob, good morning, everyone. The cooler temperatures, we're definitely feeling them this morning, but we're also feeling some wind, which of course is concerned. Now, we're live on the 138 and Beakley Road here in Pinon Hills, and you are looking live at the National Guard called in to assist firefighters and first responders here. They are keeping the road closed. There are several road closures in this area. This is just one of them. Again, the 138 and Beakley Road. And take a look at this video of the bridge fire. This is cell phone video that showed the active flames on both sides of Highway 2. It was taken by a resident manager of Mount Care, a Christian camp near Mountain High Resort. Fueled by thick, dry brush and pushed along by the winds and higher elevations, fire officials have continuously said this fire is showing extreme fire behavior. Currently, thousands of structures are still threatened, and while mandatory evacuation orders are in effect, not everyone has left.
Pretty crazy because of the wind came through here. I couldn't even see the neighbor's house from the smoke. It was so thick. But, you know, I've done the brush fires before in the past, and I'm pretty confident I can make sure that at least my house and my neighbor's houses are safe.
Now, back at Mount Care, that's a popular Christian camp. They also rent the camp out to different nonprofits and different groups. Several buildings were burned down. They were lost, but the main buildings, we're told, were spared. At last count, officials say 20 homes have been destroyed in Mount Baldy, just over a dozen in Wrightwood, and bringing it back here live, about a dozen cabins or so in different remote areas. Keep in mind, if you're traveling this way, again, there are many street closures, including one behind me right here at 138 and Beakley in Pinon Hills. Reporting live, I'm Gigi Gracia. Back to you.
All right, Gigi, thank you. Updating breaking news, there are 3 wildfires burning across the Southland, and we just received new figures. The bridge fire in the Angeles National Forest has burned more than 46,000 acres and destroyed several homes in the Wrightwood area. There's currently no containment. The airport fire in Orange County's Trabuco Canyon has expanded into Riverside County. That fire has burned about 22,000 acres and is 0% contained. The line fire in Highland, the fire in San Bernardino County, is about 34,000 acres and is 14% contained.
And we have team coverage. Scott Reif live at Air 7 right now. He's continuing our coverage. He's over the bridge fire. And Scott, I'm just shocked at how quickly this fire moved from Glendora to Wrightwood.
Yeah, it's amazing how quickly it moved, and the size of it, it's a monster. Almost over 46,000 acres, almost 47,000 acres have burned here since Sunday. And we're showing you a ridge line burning uphill into the Angeles National Forest. We're over Ontario looking to the north, and here's a look at the satellite view from our sky map. It gives you an idea. You know, it's really steep terrain. It's inaccessible. It's almost impossible to get up there and put it out. We've seen some helicopters fly by and make drops. There is some concern it'll come back down the hill towards towards the areas of Claremont, so there are warnings about evacuations for that, but they do have resources in place. There's the road right there. You can sort of see the road, and then you can see firefighters along that stretch trying to make sure it doesn't come any further south. The real concern, though, is this fire on the northern end, the head of the fire. This is the heel of the fire, and the Wrightwood area later on this afternoon. Now, right now, it's so much cooler than it has been over the last couple of days. That's going to help. There's more humidity. But, boy, I tell you, one of the huge things that we have going on here, 100,000 plus acres of burning throughout the Southland. It's an inferno, and we're just running out of resources. We don't have as many resources as we need, really, to cover and to drop retardant and water on all these fires. So that's what makes it so tricky. We're looking at another pretty warm afternoon, and certainly we've got a lot of homes in the Wrightwood area that are going to be threatened.
It came out a fire up near Reno, forcing thousands of people out of their homes. The latest reports say the Davis fire has burned 14 structures, and as of this morning is 0% contained. NV Energy even cut power in the region to prevent any sort of possible ignitions or further spark ups. Thousands of people still without power this morning. The fire broke out Saturday near a campground up in Washoe Valley. About 6,500 acres have burned so far. Shelters are open for the more than 14,000 people who have been evacuated, with some people leaving as the fire was starting to burn their homes.
I think we all knew this time there was a very strong chance it wasn't going to make it. I mean, how fast it was moving, how fast the winds were blowing. Like, we knew when we left that there was a strong chance we weren't going to end up with a house.
School, by the way, has been canceled up in Washoe County today, so that's the entire Reno metro area. Governor Lombardo did declare a state of emergency in response, citing the need for federal and state agencies to help out. That order will remain in effect for the next 5 days.
Well, folks in the Inland Empire felt some shaking during an earthquake swarm.
One viewer sharing home security video of the shaking inside their house. The first quake struck just after 10 o'clock this morning near Archibald and the 60 freeway. It registered as a magnitude 3.5 quake, and it turned out to be a foreshock because about a half hour later, a 3.9 magnitude quake hit. That has been the main quake thus far. Could be surpassed, of course. It was then followed by a 2.8. Folks in Ontario were a bit shaken up.
Everyone was just screaming, like going crazy, like ah.
That second one hit, and it was just like an even it was a bigger one, obviously, the more noticeable, and everyone just kind of froze for a second.
All of a sudden, everything shook. I felt like the truck was coming through the store right here, especially with all the merchandise. It felt a lot stronger.
Dr. Lucy Jones sharing some insight on Twitter today, saying the quakes happened on the Fontana seismicity lineation, which is a northeast striking line known for producing small quakes. And we always learn so much after every quake from Dr. Jones. Here's a look at the strength of today's quakes. Take a look at the purple columns. The quakes were below a magnitude 4, which is considered light with noticeable shaking, but still it's equivalent to about 33,000 pounds of explosives.
And be sure to download the MyShake app. It delivers earthquake alerts all across California. You can see damage and shaking reports submitted by other community members, as well as information from the USGS and other global earthquake authorities. Typically, warnings only go out for magnitude 4.5 or higher earthquakes to users in areas of light to severe shaking. That app is free to download.
Yeah, we're having an earthquake right now. Whoa! We are, whoa. Okay, so we're here. That is an earthquake that we just experienced. That's still going. And naturally, it's a little bit jarring when that happens. Growing up in Southern California my whole life, there's such an unpredictability with an earthquake that it just rattles you.
Oh, it sure does, as well as rattling all of the lights that are above us. Above us, yep.
So that was a pretty big jolt. We're going to be getting some information, I'm sure, in just a bit about the magnitude of that quake. But scary.
And noises. That was God breaking up that argument right there.
Yeah, that's I guess what that was.
A 4.7 magnitude earthquake has hit the Malibu area. We want to turn now to meteorologist Dirk Verdorn. And Dirk, actually, we initially heard 4.7, but now I'm seeing reports that it may have even been a 5.1.
Yeah, the latest, I was just looking at the USGS map and they had 4.7, but that's the thing, when you have these earthquakes like this, the numbers that are thrown around are going to change. And so again, the initial report was a 4.7 magnitude, and as you mentioned, it may change from the initial report. This happened at 7:28 this morning, so not that long ago, and then there was another smaller quake, a little aftershock of a 2.8 that was at 7:30 a.m. You can see the location. They're just to the north of Malibu in the Malibu Hills. You can see just to the north here, and you kind of can see the faint outline of where these are taking place. And again, you can see the bigger circle. That's where the 4.7 occurred. And then there's a smaller circle, and that's where you have the 2.8 that occurred. And there's probably going to be some more aftershocks as we go through the morning, and we'll get a clearer picture of the actual magnitude as we go along as well. So that's the latest here. Now back over to you.